Food Forest Ketelbroek is a perennial system. You plant it once and it grows, and the trees grow, and you try to mimic a natural forest, but you make it with more edible species. A food forest system is part of the future of agriculture. We can show it can be done different. And nature can be generous. It's abundance. Yeah. So my name is Wouter van Eck. Back in 2009 we started a food forest. It's the area here with all the green trees. But at that time it was an empty, bare field used for industrial farming. So animal cropping, one crop only, using pesticides, fertilization, big machines running on fossil fuel. Our motivation was two sides, and the negative one was that I became sad about the disappearing of nature from our landscapes. We have in our cultures and countries created a harsh separation. We have locked up nature in nature reserves, and in our agriculture systems insects disappeared, bird life collapsed, it's empty. We have organized silent spring. And I also had in the back of my head an experience about a project in Eastern Africa, in Kenya, where there was a polyculture of species like mango, papaya, avocado, banana, growing in forest-like systems. And it was going well. It was noisy with all the insects and birds around. It was good smelling soil, no erosion, and food and income. And then I thought, can this be done in our part of Europe, where we can have cold winters? We cannot grow avocado or mango, but do we have enough species to create such a loose forest-like system and producing food at the same time? We wanted to test it, and we are very enthusiastic about the results. It's possible in our countries too. This is a bare field. It has been fertilized, it has been plowed, sprayed with pesticides. The crop is gone and it's empty again. So a lot of effort, but back to zero. That's the difference with the food forest, which continues to grow. And here at the start of our food forest, we did a little experiment with planting one walnut tree, but we also planted a walnut tree with neighbors. So here it's the polyculture of species. But this one was planted the same day and had the same height as that other one. But now it's much bigger, much more healthy, and producing much better. And at the same time it's hazel, Japanese wineberry, sea buckthorn, black elder, goat willow, ramanas rose, flagrant sumac, cornelian cherry on a few square meters. So it's polyculture. It's food, it's diversity, it's healthy soil, and the nut tree is growing better. So you see over there sea buckthorn with the orange berries. This is plum, almost ripe. Rose hips, which we will harvest next week. And those are apples meant for cider. They will be ripe in 1 month. It's a species related to raspberry and bramble, but it's flowering now, and you can see all those insects because summer is almost over. There's not that much nectar and pollen, but this species is part of the system because now the insects build strong populations, and next spring they will also pollinate the other fruits again. We planted over 400 different species, most of them edible. Nowadays I would not plant that much anymore, but we had also to learn how do they grow, can they survive -20, can they survive +40, which we sadly already had 2 times and will get worse. I would limit to 80 species. But that's the top 80, it's performing, it can survive a cold winter, survive a hot summer, it's healthy, developing, good producing, more or less easy to pick, and good tasting and the market and consumers liking it. Tick the box, all those effects, and then it's the 80, the top 80. Some species on paper were good for the system, but actually they perform not that good because they are maybe very difficult to pick. Or another shrub, well, the berries are just, yeah, to say it polite, they taste disgusting. It should also be good tasting. These medlars, they are good tasting when they are ripe, but they are not that big. So that's maybe a fruit I would not plant too much. But I became very enthusiastic about Asian pears. They produce well, they're easy to pick, they are tasty, they store good. So that's really a very, very good, reliable cropper. This is another very special species called Pieris qingshanxis, northwest of China. And it's probably the best tasting pear I ever had. And I don't understand why it's not cultivated more. You can see how many fruits there are growing there. What makes me happy about the food forest system, first of all, it's not that much work, since nature is doing the job. So building soil fertility, pollination, balancing of species, growing of your food, most of it is done by nature. So this is a type of agriculture not fighting nature anymore and not trying to adjust and have to struggle against weeds and to have to fertilize and have to water. All those things are not needed in a food forest system. Also, a food forest system is part of the future of agriculture. We can show it can be done different. And then we have healthy, nutritious, tasty food. And nature is coming back to our fields, which are now mostly empty. One can be pessimistic about collapse of biodiversity and about climate crisis. This is also sharing hope. This is something to be happy about. Over there it's the autumn olive. You can see how plentiful the red berries are. And yeah, when this shrub is flowering in April, it's buzzing with insects. It's also nitrogen fixating, so feeding other plants around. The nutritional value is very high, so it's a healthy berry and good tasting berry. Agriculture really needs partly a reset and a rethinking. By the way, I also do eat annual crops sometimes, and they are not from a food forest system. So delicious vegetables like cauliflower or zucchinis and pumpkins, they can grow next to a food forest system. And together they create a diverse landscape, a mosaic-like, which makes our landscapes storing more carbon, bringing back more biodiversity, having better water management, producing healthy food. That should be the common goal. And every project, every field should fit into this vision for the future. And together we can build such a nice landscape.
In terms of food production, would you say a food forest produces more food than conventional agriculture?
Conventional agriculture doesn't have a future. It contributes to the climate crisis and suffers from it. So that's not the right system. It's polluting the soil which it should grow on. And most of the fields in our countries are used to grow fodder instead of food, which is a waste. But we can grow much more food instead of fodder. We can grow healthy food, and the food forest system actually can grow all food we need. So in the diverse landscape, the food forest will become much more productive and can more people per hectare than conventional farming is doing now. It's possible to design a food forest that people can come and pick. Maybe they should become member or pay a fee for entrance, or you weigh them before they come and when they leave.
Yes.
And they have to pay for every kilo. That's all up to you what's the most fitting system for the farmer. But then it should be designed, for instance, that you have in June there are many berries ripe, raspberries and red currants, and they should group together so people can go there in June. And then in July other crops, and August other crops, and then September the walnuts and the sweet chestnuts. So a bit more clever design Here it's total romantic chaos, which is fine with me, but romanticism, you must know, it's nice but unpractical. And when you invite customers to come and pick, which is also fun to do, people are outside, people are more healthy when they are in a green landscape. But then it should be designed so it's accessible and understandable. You have to organize access to a landscape, you have to have a good design, you need to buy good planting materials and plant at the right spot. And it's all this effort in the beginning, then let it grow. Having the experience of a growing food forest and return of biodiversity, tasting delicious food, but also meeting people from other countries and knowing that we are part of a common movement to improve our landscape. This is a good meeting of like-minded people contributing to the farming of the future. I'm amazed how fast the system develops after a few years of patience in the beginning. If you're going to plant a food forest, the first years you need patience, and then it really return of biodiversity, growing of the system, it's sequestering carbon, but we need a lot. So to start this project I was optimistic. With hindsight, our optimism maybe was too modest, and it's even going better than I ever expected. Agriculture is part of our livelihood. We need our food grown in places nearby our towns. We should have production of good food instead of depending upon far away and long traffic needed. So agriculture should contribute to rich landscapes. This is literally a growing movement, so that you start this next to Berlin. It's great, and this is a short chain for the people in town and having a much more beautiful and nature-rich landscape. So best wishes for your project.
Thank you very much.